Hello, welcome to the library's top 5 databases overview, showing Proquest, Academic Search Premier, Opposing Viewpoints, Newsbank, and PrepStep. My name is Rhonda Kitchens, and I am your librarian. We're going to go over simply what is a database. Currently, we have over 100. When you move on to University of Washington or Harvard, you will find some libraries have 400 to 700. So I'm hoping learning these 5 will give you a great start no matter where you go from here and while you're doing the classes here. So these were picked more or less by you guys. That's right. I didn't pick the top 5 that I use. I picked the top 5 that I see people use the most off of our library website, Databases A to Z. So let's talk a little bit about what a database is. Sometimes when I say it, I feel like I keep saying it over and over again and it loses all meaning. Have you ever had a word like that? But the truth is, you use a database probably every single day of your life. Especially Netflix is a database, Hulu, Pluto, Audible, and when you're searching for podcasts on Apple, those are all databases. They contain digital records that you can search. They have them in sections. They have meta searches where you can find certain things like just mysteries or K-dramas or things of that nature. And some of them, like Netflix, if you like this particular thing, you will also like the others. The library also has databases, and these are our publishers: Gale, Proquest, EBSCO, Ex Libris, and all these are a little bit different, just like these. Netflix really wants to take care of you. Hulu can be sometimes very confusing. Pluto, amazingly confusing. Amazon Prime, not so much. And you'll find out as you start using these, some of you will have some definite favorites and biases and things that you're comfortable using. So let's look at first Proquest and Academic Search Premier. I put these together and they're going to start out as the top. And one of the reasons that people use these are really strong, very strong general databases. They cover all sorts of disciplines, magazines, newspapers. They have some older items, newer items, things coming out every day. They're easy to search, and they both have searches that give you some value. And they care about you as a researcher. I really believe they do. Also, Opposing Viewpoints. This is a Gale publishes this, and this is a curated database. That means that people actually select what to put into it. And in a way that makes sure that what you see is what you get full text, and it's easy to use, and also breaks down the formats in a way that might fit your professor's rubric. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Also, Newsbank. Newsbank is newspapers, is also news magazines, and also some radio and things of that nature. It's also where you can find, of course, the New York Times and Washington State newspapers. You know, when you hit that paywall and you've already viewed something 5 times, you're like, I can afford that subscription. Come to Newsbank, find that paper, and you can keep up with it for free. And finally, PrepStep. Not a lot of people know about it until someone sort of refers them right into it. And it's sort of a test preparation site, but it also can help you learn vocabulary, math, and other things. It has a tutorial system built into it. You have to sign up and create your own account with them, but you'll be able to save and see how you've done well throughout time, using your own sign-in and seeing your own progress. And these are available, of course, from the library for free. These are subscription databases. These are the things that get you behind the paywall. I'm going to start out first with the ones I listed first: Academic Search Complete and Proquest. The most general databases we have that are just absolutely great places to start. When you come to the library website, you will see oftentimes this will come out. This is a Ask a Librarian piece. That means that we're available to help you on chat. This is pretty much a 24/7 service, but sometimes if it's a campus-specific question, we'll get back to you in the morning. So that's on every single page of the website. Here we have the library catalog. Some of the databases I just named out to you can be searched through the library catalog where you can find the individual items like through subject or keyword searching, but not all of them are. So when I'm trying to do my most complete searching, I usually sometimes will start out with databases A to Z. And this is the list of over 100 databases that we have. It's alphabetic. You can also search it by subject. Suppose you're working on an English project, nursing, and we will put together some of the databases that are best to use. We'll have best bets at the top and some other items underneath. So we kind of package these so you're able to use them. Also, you can search for formats. Vendors doesn't really mean a lot to you right now. And this is a database title search. You can't search all the databases using it, but if your professor said, I want you to only use opposing viewpoints, and you're like, is that A posing with an A or O posing with an O? You could come over here and try to find it that way. That has happened, by the way. I am not making that up. So I'm going to start us out with Academic Search Premier. It's a little bit smaller than ProQuest. We are considering getting a larger Academic Search Complete, and that would be available to us in the fall. And this is one of the databases that usually does show up in the library catalog search, or you could just come here directly. Today I'll just do a basic search on global warming or climate change. I'm going to go to this search, and I usually start out with a really broad search and then start narrowing it down. Here you have a Boolean logic searches where you can do and, or not. The and looks for things where there's an overlap. The or looks for things that may be the same word, like global warming or climate change, or you could get rid of not. You could get rid of one of these concepts. And this is the same thing that you would actually, Google has a way to do this as well. If you want to get rid of something, you put negative the word and it doesn't show up in your search. So this isn't wildly unusual. This is a basic for many of the databases that are both subjects, just subscription services, or free and available to you, things like PubMed of that nature. So when you're using this database, select full text because what you see you would like to get to. If your rubric or assignment calls for scholarly or peer-reviewed pieces, you can select the limiter on the left-hand side that says this thing. Now, I want you to look at it very carefully. It says scholarly or peer-reviewed journals, not article. You still need to make sure that a scholarly journal has the pieces that you need. Sometimes you need to find specifically a research one that has a methodology, also system, but other things that could be in a journal would be a letter to the editor, a book review, and those are not specifically scholarly articles. So make sure you understand you still need to make sure it's a scholarly article because you're only searching the journals. Underneath as well, you can make choices like how many years back. You can look at different countries and languages. You could look at other subjects and make a choice on that drop-down box if you wanted to include it. So I'm going to go up, I'll move this over now away from the search box. Over here to the right, you'll see some related images. And also, that's right, if you get into Academic Search Premier and you need help, just go over there and we'll be able to help you out. So let's look at this. When you click on the title here, the first thing it goes to is some details. It calls it a detail page. And you can see the authors, who they're affiliated with. You can pick up some different search terms and keywords. Remember, the abstract is from the author, and if you're going to use this, you actually need to read the full text of the piece itself. Especially when you're working in the science and health sciences, you really want to go to that PDF. And you'll see that it's available to us slowly. My computer's a little slow today, sorry. So we're going to give this a look over, and you'll be able to read this piece. It is downloading. You can save this, you can email it, you could put it in your Google Drive if you have that. And another thing that you can do, this is moving really slow, sorry, is cite it. And I want to show you what the citation suggestion, I like to call it, is on this particular database. The rest of them seem to have mostly quotation marks, which is very, very useful. So I just want you to see this loading, and you're able to read it. And you can also use this to skip pages. You can make it bigger or smaller, and also over here you could do Google Drive, print, email, and other things. This is going to be the citation page, and this is the warning. Cite it and correct it. There's usually something wrong with it. Let's look at APA 7th edition. But sometimes they'll get some of the names right, but you'll see here it has some -C's. Those aren't actually in there, so you would need to clean those up. It does not have the title capitalized correctly for APA. For APA, nothing is capitalized except for the first word, word after a colon, a proper noun or noun phrase. So here, extreme should be capitalized, this should be capitalized, this should be capitalized, and nothing else. But it does have some of the other important information like the digital object identifier and beginning and end page number. So this is a great thing to copy, but then correct, because it does have a lot of things together for you. So when you're using EBSCO, this is one of the things I like about using this particular database is this is the search. See up here where it says choose databases? You can choose different ones. You could actually select them all. Suppose you can't find anything anywhere. Select all may help you out. You can also build your own website. Suppose you're interested in something about community health. We have consumer information, Alt Health Watch. We have consumer health reference. We have general science full text, and you just collect all the ones that you want to search, and there you have created your own database. I'm just going to put a couple in here. This also includes Business Source Elite, and let's go there. And now the search will have more things come up. Let's kind of look at this. We have 15,000 things to choose from. You have things back to 1967. Make sure this full text, so what you see is what you get. And the first thing you see is something from Business Source Complete, future-proof your climate strategy. And if you're working on something where you need to find different facets, cross-disciplinary interests, this is going to help you look at it in a variety of different ways and understand who the stakeholders are in this particular piece. So that's one of the many reasons this is fantastic. I'm now going to go to Proquest. I'm going to go to P for Proquest. I'm going to go, and this is the database's A to Z page. Proquest is a very clean database. I have it so it opens to the advanced search. Here you have an opportunity to use the Boolean operators. This drop-down box, you could search anywhere. You could search all text. You could search inside or a specific publication title. And that's one of the beautiful things about this is the way it has its publications set up. So if I'm going to put global warming, I'm going to go in. This is a very huge search, but I would narrow it down in the real world. But I'm just going to show you what this looks like. When you go into the search, if you had not chosen full text, you still have the opportunity to do so over here. If you want something peer-reviewed and scholarly, you could select for these two. You might have an assignment that asks for 2 scholarly articles, and it'll bring up the journals. Keep that in mind. You still need to make sure the article itself is. Suppose like this one, it has 1 page. It might be just a book review. You have this one with 20 pages. It's highly likely it is a scholarly article. If you select this, you go straight into the details. But if you know that you want to look at the PDF, select this and go ahead and look at that. Cited by 17. This has already been cited by 17 people. I shouldn't say already because that's since 2010. And also, if you want to look at the references to this, you can see links to the things that these people looked at in their literature review before they did their research, and you can go and read those as well. So I'm going to go in here. So this is actually called citation searching. It's really a powerful way to find things. If this one thing works, keep going and seeing who else cited it. You'll see a lot of information here. You still have an opportunity to go to all those different tabs. You see where the reference list is, and over here you'll have cited by, and it also has a section, documents with shared references. So between this this and this, you have an awful lot of things that you can look at and research if you like this article and want to see things that used it or used in it, or documents that share a set of references with it. And also, and I find this very Netflix about it, if you like this article, you may also like these. Over here, it's going to give you some search topics. So I usually start collecting the keywords so I could get deeper into my subject. Up here, you will see the citation piece. I'm going to bring this up. You're going to have to choose which one you want. It's got APA 7th edition as well. Again, copy and correct it, but it's going to have a lot of things that work well for you. I've set it to sentence casing for the title, so a lot of the titles are showing up better than they used to, but maybe too much better, as we say. Bush should be capitalized as in Bush administration. So again, copy and correct it. And you'll also see you have all different ways that you can share it with others. So this is Proquest, and that's one of the fantastic things it does. But suppose you're looking at this and you're like, well, what else is in this journal? Crime, Law, and Social Change. If you click on this, it's going to go into the holdings for this particular journal. And look, you can search within the publication. So you could search all the pieces where global warming was in Crime, Law, and Social Change. And that's going to give you a scholarly journal, and you can go through the back issues to find out where it had global warming. And especially if that's the you're taking, law, legislation, social change, that's going to be very, very helpful. You can also come here and read the current issue. Let's see. In this case, it does allow you. Let's see if it does. This is a full text one, and you'll see the full text is not available. Sometimes there is a blackout date on the most current year. So in years from further back, you'll start seeing the full text start showing up because you're outside of the blackout time for this. So sometimes 2021 and half of the previous year is hard to find. And you can, of course, look at these in full text. You can also, once you go into this other section, search within that certain year. And especially if you have a professor that wants you to read a certain journal or keep up with it, see if we have it inside of Proquest, because it's a beautiful and easy way to work with it. So that was Proquest. So the next thing we're going to look at is opposing viewpoints. So we're at the list over opposing. When I call it the list, databases A to Z. Boom, click on this. And this was the database I referred to as curated. You notice on Academic Search Premier and Proquest, I had to select for text. I also had to select for what type of format I want. Newspaper, magazine, scholarly article, whatever. Here, I'm going to have a different type of experience. First of all, I don't need to select for full text, because what you see is what you get is pretty much how this particular database works. It has real people reading these articles and placing them into this area. And you see what it did? It broke down all the sections. So if I'm doing a paper and I need a magazine article, I need 2 scholarly journals, I need a video and statistics, maybe some multimedia like audio or video, I would come here. They have this all set up for you. I'm having a slow loading time with this. I'm going to not make you wait for it to be loaded, but when you go to a particular article, let's see if I can get at least one going. No, we have some technical difficulties. It's going to have a citation piece right on the top bar, and I think it is in quotations. And again, copy and correct it. One of the wonderful things about this particular database is you don't have an idea about what to write about, or what there may be a lot of things to support. This will help you out. In fact, it gives you 469 issues to look at. And so you could go to those. You could look at this and see all 43, or pick up some of these subtopics. When you click on this, it brings you into a section that already has a piece. I like to call this the smart person's Wikipedia, because it's edited and ready and easy for you to use. Let me just try this one more time so I could show you what that looks like. So, yes, it is a quotation mark. So your citation piece is up here, MLA 8th, Chicago, and APA. Again, copy and correct it, and make sure that it's cleaned up when you use it for yourself. So I hope you see what was awesome about that. What you see is what you get. It has a citation generator. You can send, you can download, you can print. And also it has a little section on more like this to the side, and gives you some other subjects you can look at. Some of these are really great for being able to find the law and legislation around an object, and then you can do research in Proquest or Academic Search Complete to find more information. So, next thing we're going to look at here will be Newsbank within. Newsbank is, again, newspapers. It's also going to be news magazines. We're going to have a special section for Washington State newspapers, so you could go in those specifically to look at them. So let me bring this down and over. I want to show you the special part. It also has suggested topics, so if you want to go in here, it's going to have something collected for your support. It has some links here. We have here the death penalty, which is in the news currently, with some states bringing back firing squads. And it already has a prepared search for you. Here, when you see the quotation marks, that's a phrase search, or is the Boolean logic piece, and they're searching inside the headline. When you search inside the headline in a database like that, it's going to bring up the quality and relevancy of your pieces more rapidly than if you fail to do that. If you do an all select any field search, it might be in trouble. Another thing to do is use the lead paragraph. The lead paragraph, when you're in journalism, if it's a traditional newspaper story, the first paragraph has a lot of the wording and information about. So if the subsequent paragraphs are eliminated for space considerations or other, you will still get the article in the first paragraph. So headline and lead paragraph are great ways to go. This lets you also select word count to make sure that it is a larger, more substantial piece as well. So I'm going to go back to that first page. We were just in the selected topics. See this right here? USA Washington is Washington's newspapers. News magazines are like Time and Newsweek and others. Sometimes your professors love you to use those because it shows how people bring in research together to create a secondary source. You can also go to the locator map to see where all the pieces are, and we have a Seattle Times collection as well. So if I was going to go in here, would go to more search options, because I actually would prefer to have this, and I'm going to put in global warming. I'm going to select a field, the lead paragraph. I'm going to put it in quotes so that it searches a phrase. And then I'm going to try to find something else. I'm just going to put in oil, and I'm going to put lead paragraph. I can also sort, when you find your pieces, you can sort. And let's see what we have on the left-hand side. We can also select where we want to search. By using this, you could actually do comparisons of different areas as you're able to find English news sources or sources in other languages. Might be for some a barrier, or others an opportunity. So we have 10,000 results, and this talks about oil and trading companies. But here on this side, we can pick the type. Do we want a journal, a magazine, and these will all be newspaper based, college, university newspaper, or do we want just a newspaper? So if you have an assignment that wants a newspaper, you will select for this. And then it's going to change our pieces to 6,000, which is still big. I'm going to put this in a headline. Search for global warming in a headline, so we can see how that might look. So Excellent. So you'll see now we have about 1,000 results. We don't need 16,000. And now we're seeing global warming both in the first paragraph and in the headline, so you know that this story will most likely meet some of your research needs if that is your topic. You can also find here letters to the editor and other things. So if you're looking for real people's points of view across America, you could do a comparison between California and New York, or any other kind of like unique and wonderful things. This is one of our more expensive databases, and we're lucky that the state of Washington picks it up. So I hope you will use it when you're looking for current and fresh news, because it's not as current as Twitter, but it does have things from daily newspapers, sometimes a little bit the day before. So finally, I'm going to go into PrepStep, under P, PrepStep. And this is a little bit different. And the reason it has so many hits is because this is all the test prep it provides. The TAES, or T's, I never know how to say it, TEAS, it has core math and science and English reviews, college success skills, career prep, basic computer skills if you need those. When you go into this, the first time you do, you're going to need to create your own account, and that's going to be here, sign in, register, and you'll be signing in, register with Big Bend Community College. See if it remembers me. I tried to sign in with Google. I love the Google sign-ins. And yes, I think it does recall that I've been here. It might at some point, forget you, and you might have to sign in again. But these are the computer courses. This is test prep, and here's some tutorials. I'm just going to click on this to see what's here. I have basic computer skills, core math and science skills, English, reading, writing, grammar, vocabulary, and spelling. So you can use this for yourself to help you fill in your skills on your own time inside the space that you create for yourself. So these have been all the wonderful pieces here. Let's see if this is... Yes. So these are the top 5, and you might see why they're the top 5, because they're pretty much a complete package in getting things done. So I just want to make sure you know, if you have any questions, ask your librarian. We could do a Zoom share and go through some research, help you with some keywords. Sometimes you need to find the right words. It may be the spelling of a word, or a plural, a word that you're using in plural, but it searches better as singular. I can help you fix that with some search tricks. You'll be able to figure that out. I am always available to you. You have the Ask a Librarian tab on every single library page. And I think that wraps up this piece right here at 28 minutes. So reach out if you need any more help. Thanks for enjoying top 5 databases. And just not any databases, the databases you've identified as the most important in your work. Thank you.